In this video, we are going to talk about a Litecoin while seeing a nice rejection near 200 EMA. Good morning, traders. Welcome back to the channel, and we are back with Litecoin LTC coin. Now, straight to the point, we see a really nice rejection happening near this 200 EMA, which is this line here. Now, after having this magnificent rejection, which we have been waiting for, of course, since like maybe 2 or 3 days, and as of today, 7th of December, upon the closing, the last candle, we had nice rejection, and this new opening tried to go for another reclaim of this 200 EMA, and it failed completely, going to the lower zones, of course, meaning that we see potential cross of this middle line of Bollinger Bands, which is this line here, currently, of course, bullish. As you can see, we have been in the bullish market, but also crossing this 100 EMA. Now, if we see this zone to be broken, which is a crossover of 100 EMA and Bollinger Bands middle line, we might see a further push towards this lower side of the Bollinger Bands, of course. Now, zooming out, the major target would be for us this zone. But to reach this zone, we need, of course, break firstly this zone here, and the start is pretty nice as we have had a really nice rejection. Last time we had this kind of rejection happened, of course, here, and we reached lower sides, meaning a nice dump to the lower side of the Bollinger Bands with correctional movements, of course. Now, one more interesting thing is that we have been forming actually some sort of like downtrend. As of now, if we see a nice correction from here to the lower zones, then the trend will be something like this, meaning that a nice formation to all-time high on this time frame, going lower, higher, meaning higher high, higher low, lower high, and so on. So some kind of this movement is what we want to see basically, until we reach, of course, this major target zone. Now, last thing on the daily time frame, which is actually interesting, is that although we had a nice rejection as of now, the Bollinger Bands is still in bullish trend. Sorry, not bullish trend, but in overbought zones or near the overbought zones, and the RSI is also showing some kind of strength here, but upon crossing these lines, meaning, let's zoom in a little bit, meaning if we see a crossover of this yellow line and resulting in a nice breakdown from this line here, then we might see a nice confirmation on the RSI side as well. Okay, and now the last thing on the daily time frame is these magnificent wicks occurring since basically this time. After having this like some kind of bullish momentum here, we have been having some kind of bullish movement, or rather sideways movement as well, but nevertheless we see these magnificent wicks happening here. So all the bears trying to push prices down, and here are not only these ones that we have marked here with the sell-off wicks, but it's basically all the way from here to here. And when we look on the other side of the candle, meaning on the bullish side, we are not seeing any kind of like strong momentum or anything like this. So people have been trying to push prices down, and they have been trying it to do like basically for the last 14 days. After reaching, of course, 200 EMA, getting rejected, small correction movement, now reaching another 200 EMA zone, and now seeing a nice rejection. So on a daily time frame, we want to see breakdown from this zone here, potential movement to the lower zones of reclaiming these two lines here. Now, quick view, of course, on the 4-hour time frame as well, and what a beauty. We see a nice reclaim here to the lower sides, meaning prices tried to push again to the lower sides. So basically in the last 2-3 days we have had like one, two, we won't count this, 1, 2, 3, 4 nice attempts to break down to the lower zones, of course resulting in a nice manipulation near the middle line of Bollinger Bands. Now what we want to see here is, of course, nice breakdown towards like this lower line of the Bollinger Bands. The second moving average and 100 EMA should be both or not both, but three of them should be broken, meaning this branch of here. And once we see the breakdown from this branch, we will see a price to move potential to this zone of 200 EMA. Because after having a nice breakout, moving on a daily time frame towards the 200 EMA, we haven't had a nice retouch towards those two zones. Once we see a nice retouch, we might see some kind of like correctional movement, some very slight movement to like sideways, and then a further movement to the lower zones. Now, with this being said, basically on a daily time frame, we had a nice rejection on a 200 EMA zone. Not even nice, but rather heavy rejection, resulting in a nice confirmation for us that this 200 EMA is still feeling strong and not letting prices to pass so easily, which is a nice potential start to the lower zones. If we see a price to move to the lower zones, it would be basically 5, 10, or even let's say 17% of market price movement, which is rather than nice. So this is the view of the Litecoin that we have as of now. And as always, stay sharp and trade safe. See you in the next session.